And this, now because we want to go straight into information, sometimes I use other people's movies or scripts or songs or lyrics, or now we're even going to go into what is the message for all these New Age, spiritual enlightenment community, right? Many times we said, especially the Muslim community, thinks that every other group is all misguided. No, everybody finds the light. And we are now supposed to help them see that which the Prophet showed us so that the light will be shined brighter, right? I call no one to follow. I tell a story and it makes the truth clearer. It enlightens. A way or a light worker is someone who does that by their actions. So let's go straight into the messages. In the last section, we did a little bit of a recap and we recited from the Quran and showed that Islam is about oneness. And the concept of Islam is submitting yourself to the will of the Lord Most High in service to others, ignoring any personal desires. And someone who does that is a Muslim. It is not something you earn by birth or right or any other things that even many Muslims might think. Someone who is of the light from the Muslims understands the story that I've been teaching you. Just as much as there are many who call themselves Christians and are full of hate. Many Muslims are full of hate for everybody on the earth. They cannot see the light if they're full of hate. It is just a plain fact. And there are those who call themselves Christians and they're full of hate. And we tell them, oh, here is a Muslim telling you the time of Christ consciousness has begun. The rapture of Christ has begun. And I'm your brother who followed the way of the Prophet Muhammad, who says very clearly, we all find the light by following the Messiah. No one goes to the afterlife without acknowledging Jesus the Messiah, right? How do we understand all the beings of light? Who was the master of this world? Who achieved the level of mastery? The master craftsman, the master builder, the master mason. It was none other than Solomon, master of the gold ring, master of this dimension and all the elementals within it. Every prophet had their gift. Joseph, master of the dreams. We went through the stages and understood from physicality what some of these things mean. Now we're going to talk about some of the spiritual concepts. And so I go to a channeling straight to talk to some of the spiritual enlightened community to make them see that you have been misguided about Islam and what it means. And speaking to you is your brother from the family of light. We go to a message from the masters, or the master, one of the masters of the blue ray, Morya, right? And he says, blessings and divine greetings, exalted ones. I speak to you as Morya, Kohen of God's blue ray. Now we see we're going to go through some of the strange information from many of the light workers and the channelers. And in another session, we'll talk about channeling as a concept. But today we'll go through just the message and the content and see how do we use Islam and the story that we've already had and the map that I've already given you to now analyze correctly the information and interpret its truth at a level of mastership. Isn't that what we are trying to do from this world, my brothers and sisters? A Kohen of God's blue ray. So we're looking at this wording. Even here in English, they use the word Kohen, or what we might refer to as Kahin in Arabic. Now, in this terminology, sometimes when we translate the word Kohen in, or Chohan, the Hebrew word, in English, it sometimes is translated as sorcerer or wizard or even magician. But in this case, especially for an ascended master, it doesn't have any of those negative implications. It implies understanding the divine essence of a certain vibration or flavor. Now we are saying that in some of our past, we've realized that there are spiritual meanings to everything behind lyrics, behind sound, behind color, behind words, that in everything there is reflection of a certain kind of light, of each unique color and sound and vibration, and all different kinds of miraculous things. And now these things are opening more to us in a spiritual way, and so we're looking at them differently, that there is what we call the blue ray, the divine blue ray, that there are masters who their essence brings out what we call the first ray, or the blue ray. So Morya here talks about being a Kohen, or a master of the usage or the transmittal, or being a care bearer of the blue ray, right, from our last series. Someone who just pumps out pure blue light, the pure divine essence of light. He says, I come first to commune with those of you who have volunteered to incarnate on the blue ray of cosmic light and as the divine way showers of a new era. So this message was in 2009, right? So not so long ago, September 2009, just from last year. But we're talking about this time period in general, that there are those of us who are here. Now, the term incarnate is the one that freaks people out. The term incarnate, like, what do you mean? Were you did you zap in here? Were you a soul that came from somewhere else? Are you reincarnated? Did you start somewhere else? And we are saying that, yes, there are people who have just walked in. There are people who have just landed. There are people who have just crawled out of the inner earth. There are people who just swam to shore. And there are people who have been born here, who are raised here in duality and trained here in this world and gone through the experiences of life, who are also going to be raised up as masters. There are all kinds of beings here, and you are looking for the indication of them to recognize them. And they are going to be the divine way showers, light workers, way showers, path showers of this new era, this new age. Well, all the spiritual people talk about the new age. And we said, well, is this thing about a new age? Is there a coming new age? Well, we said that we only talked about up till the setting of the sun. But after the setting of the sun comes the darkness, and then, not the end of the world, like we keep trying to reiterate, but a new age. So, way showers to a new age. He then goes on to say, I come to assist you to harness the new potentials that each of you are here to claim and have put forth in the name of oneness to honor the path of the risen Christ within. So again, if you were to just read this without knowing the background of the story, we said it sounds a little wishy, right? I mean, Muslims will be like, the Christ within, this sounds like Christian mumbo jumbo. Here some of the masters are talking about the light that Christ came with, the Christ consciousness, the Holy Spirit that is established in the realm of duality after the Messiah has come. And we're saying that now I'm getting to teach you this after the Messiah has come and after the final prophet has come. And because of both of those blessings, here's some crazy weird guy who just happens to say he's Muslim, and now he's explaining to you Morya, the ascended master. If all of this, he says, is towards the name of oneness, that you understand the pattern of divine will of your Lord, and that you are submitting to that oneness, and therefore you are upon the path of light. Before long, he goes on to say, your outer world will shift to reflect the internal changes that you have worked so long and hard to achieve. We said the reflection of the outer world is only after you have disclosed the truth of your heart, right? It is about you expressing who you are, and then the truth of the outer world will begin to reflect the vibration that you resonate at, the light that you reflect in your oneness. But these changes are happening all over Earth. Yes, there will be changes that you have long sought after, yet there will also be the changes that each of you came to ground into the Earth's core through the warrior ray of cosmic truth. Cosmic truth, wisdom, and the divine will of God.